I want to talk about consciousness. I know we've traversed like many topics that have nothing to do with each other.
That's kind of the show.
Towards consciousness.
You nailed the show.
Okay, we talked about buttholes and all this other stuff.
Delicious.
Do you believe in free will? Are you a no free will guy?
I don't. It's such an unpopular thing, but we definitely don't have free will in the sense that
you are both wrong.
Yes.
You're wrong.
Yes.
Take a couple of these facts into
All
consideration.
right, come on, let's fact it up. Come on, now Elvis is
Number
gone
one.
and Ian is in the
I knew
building.
he'd be a no free will guy.
Come on,
I knew
all
it.
right, come on.
My guy.
Number one it up.
You have to understand there's certain things that you don't want to believe with every fiber of your being.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
People don't want to believe that we just die and don't exist. So that's why most people believe we go to heaven, even though there's so much proof we don't do that.
Okay.
You could have amnesia and you forget who you are, but suddenly you die and all the blood's gone and you remember your whole fucking family. Okay. But most people believe heaven because you want to believe it. Now, I would say even a more fervent belief that you need to have is that you have free will. So you have to start this conversation understanding that you want to believe it so fucking bad that you've got to just calm down and think about the facts of this situation.
Fact me up. Fact me
Relax.
up.
Number one.
Look at your
Fact
arms.
me
They're
up.
stressed.
Shut up, Beetle.
Okay.
Back me up.
Okay, are you here with us now?
No, he's-
Elvis has left the
We're
building.
not going to be emotional.
He's upset.
We're not going to be emotional.
Let me up. Yeah.
Okay, number one.
Yes.
You don't think your thoughts. That's something you can observe right now. They pop into your head.
I'm thinking my thought right now, and I'm narrating it to you. Next fact that I will dispel.
You're not choosing it. Don't think of an elephant right
I'm
now. Don't
choosing
picture
it.
an
You have to-
elephant. Do not picture an
I'm
elephant.
not picturing an
you are.
elephant. I'm picturing a fucking donkey because I'm looking at two fucking jackasses.
Oh, see,
Go
he's
ahead.
very
Yeah,
upset.
he wants to believe it so bad.
It's crazy.
And his whole world is crumbling. Like he just took DMT. His whole world, like it's all pixelating and falling in front of his face because he knows.
No, I just have glitter on my glasses.
Oh, it is clever.
If I lived every day that you lived, I would be exactly where you are being you.
Yeah, there's no judgment. It's very.
No.
Yeah.
There is free will because I could beat both of you over the fucking head right now with this wooden cat
But it wouldn't
cane,
be
and
your
I choose
choice.
not to. I could very much. I just made a choice.
Here's where you're getting confused. You.
I love you.
You're
You are gonna
assuming
pay for
your thoughts come from you deciding something, but they don't.
Okay.
And that's the end of the argument right there.
Where do they
just
come from?
don't. They come from your subconscious. You'll notice them. You didn't even take time to see how it works, but you will know. I mean, we could do a little experiment.
I would love that.
Okay, choose the best 3 movies of all time.
Yes, Sam Harris.
In
Sam
my
Harris
opinion,
experiment.
or like what I think the best 3 movies
Whatever
of
you
all
want.
time are. My opinion
Mm-hmm.
that I choose, not what I think would be in like the criterion top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just notice how. Go ahead.
Ghostbusters,
Okay.
A League of Their Own, Goodfellas.
Okay.
Good choices.
Now this is a Sam Harris experiment. So if I get it wrong, let me know because I actually don't really know it that well.
I know. I don't know it that well either.
But
Oh, but I
why
thought
did
your
why didn't
subconscious
why-
knew it for
Hey,
you. Okay.
why do people
why
get
didn't
so
you
defensive? Every time I get in this
choose-
argument,
because
it's like they burn
because
their
they
house
wanna-
down.
I
I mean,
know.
it's a bit. It's a
Because
bit. You
it's the
guys are
thing-
dumb, but it's a bit.
It's a thing where like people get really religious and you go, if you were more sure of yourself, you wouldn't get upset. Like he isn't sure of himself. That's why he's so
Yes,
upset.
yes.
No. I'm.
It's why religious people get so upset.
This is like a bit.
When you
You
I'm
whacked me hard.
Whack me hard.
I don't want to whack you hard. I have control.
My penis.
Okay, so why didn't you choose Chinatown?
Because I've never seen it.
Okay, so it didn't pop into your head.
Correct.
So you didn't have the choice to choose Chinatown because it never popped into your head.
I could have chosen it if
You couldn't.
the line of questioning was
No,
What?
the way I asked you, you couldn't have chosen Chinatown because it didn't pop into your head. These movies just popped into your head that you thought of.
right, but it
didn't-
put me in the lane of think of
It
your
doesn't
top
matter.
3,
It
not
doesn't matter.
what the top 3 of all
It
time
Okay,
doesn't
fine. Why
someone
didn't you
else on the
choose-
list would be. Does that make sense? If you had said
I
picked,
asked you what are the
right, and that's why I
Okay.
said clarify. Is it
So
my
this is-
choice or what I
there's going to be
think?
now, Jordan. There's going to be a lot of like mental gymnastics is what happens. Let's go to different experiment.
Go ahead.
Name just pick 3 random capitals.
It's not a test.
Well, I don't know 3.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's a good thing.
Okay, hold on. Ready? Dover.
Dover?
The capital of Delaware.
Is that, I don't know if that's right. Is that right?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Who knows
Anyway,
Delaware?
I think we're down a rabbit hole here.
Let's run a little experiment. Think of a city. You can choose any city you want. This is as free a decision as you are ever going to make in your life. Okay, you have all the cities in the world to choose from, and I'm just asking you to pick one. So you probably thought of several cities, and then let's say you thought of Paris and New York and Tokyo. Okay, and then you thought, I love Paris. I'm going to go with Paris. And the last minute you thought, no, Tokyo, I'll go with Tokyo. And now this is the sort of decision that motivates the idea of free will. You've got 2 or more choices, and you're picking between them, and it's just you and your thoughts. There's no coercion from the external world. You are doing it, apparently. But when you look closely, I think you'll find that you are in no position to know why you picked what you picked. First, let's set aside all those cities whose names you don't know and therefore could not have picked. Okay? Because you couldn't have picked one of those if your life depended on it. There's no freedom in that, obviously. Okay? And then there are many other cities whose names are quite well known to you, but which simply didn't occur to you to pick. For instance, perhaps Cairo didn't occur to you. You absolutely know that Cairo is a city. Were you free to choose that which did not occur to you to choose?
The point is, you're supposed to notice that these things pop into your head. You don't think your thoughts. So they're popping in your head. They're popping into your head because of experiences you had. Maybe you went there. Maybe you saw something about Dover, but whatever. And the only 2 things that get you to have things pop into your consciousness, which you think is making decisions, is your brain chemistry and your experiences. That's the only thing, both of which you didn't choose. You didn't choose your parents, you didn't choose your experiences, you didn't choose your brain chemistry. And it's the only thing. When you ask me like, what else is there? There is nothing else. So if we were to program a computer and with neural nets and all this, there'd be absolutely no difference. That's why I'm convinced computers, once we get these robots to have a very complicated neural network, they're going to have consciousness. Because the only difference is biological matter and silicon matter. And there's really nothing magical, even though people want to have like this magical thing. It's an illusion of it. They did an experiment where they could track brain chemistry and they'd figure out a guy raising his left hand and his right hand. This is the experiment. And they would track and be able to see when they made the decision to lift the left hand, his brain would do this thing, and right hand, his brain would do this other thing. So then they knew what left hand, right hand. Then they would ask them to keep doing it, and they would know what hand the person was going to choose before the person knows it. And the reason is because their subconscious decided it already. And what happens is that your consciousness, what you talk about as your conscious self, free will, making decisions, is just receiving the thing and then making up a story. So here's another experiment they did where, and the difference is like 4 seconds. It's not like even close. There's other experiment where they have people who have half brains. So they have one brain is just gone. And it's a way they can do it, an experiment where they'll cover this eye and show this eye like a teddy bear. So this side of its brain doesn't know, never saw, and you say, what's over there? It goes, I don't know. Then you show them pictures of 100 different things, and you go pick out the picture you like. They'll always pick the teddy bear or whatever you show them. And then you go, why'd you pick that? And they'll make up a story going, when I was a kid, I had a teddy bear, but they think you make up shit in order to make it so you made a decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucked up thing, but these are experiments that they've done. These are not, foo-foo places.
Wait, this is how it helped me to understand. Let me try.
I think I figured out why that girl spent the whole date just talking about herself.
Let me try. Wait, I also have to amend. Beckett is the death guy. Daniel Dennett is the guy who believes probably what he believes. Which Daniel Dennett is like, look, I make choices whether I want the comb or the thing. That's who I am, is making this choice. So there is such a thing as a self. But here's how I think about it. Say I'm auditioning for a thing, right? I did everything I needed to do to prepare for the audition.
The Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show. Okay.
We've reviewed your tape. Oh, we're not role playing?
No.
Sorry.
And then I do it. And then this is how I think of free will. And then you're like, fuck, I should have done this differently. I would have gotten the part if I did this. Because there is no dimension, there is no reality that you can go back and alter. You are a culmination of all of the things that led you up to where you are now. So there is no, like, you couldn't have done it differently because you did not do it differently. You know what I mean? That's why the free will thing is so cool, because you can eliminate regret.
That's right. It also, judging other people, it eliminates, and also beating yourself up.
But you have the free will to make that choice.
No, you don't.
Everything
the way that
is a choice.
Thinking, your subconscious is making these. It's doing a balancing act and calculating way beyond what you consciously can. A pain pleasure principle. Like, you don't touch. I had the free will to touch that hot stove.
Right.
You don't because you've learned that that's like pain, and you go, no, that's no good.
But you could
don't
still make the choice.
consciously
But
do
even
it.
if you did it, you would have done it no matter what. Everything that led you to that moment, so you would have done it. Say you're standing hot stove, cold thing, and I go, touch one, and you're like, this is my choice, and you burn yourself. No matter what scenario in the future happens, you always would have hit that, because everything that led you to that point led you to that point. So you have micro choices. Sure, you can read a book to educate yourself, so
but
that
even that, like, your subconscious told you to read the book.
But that's
Yeah.
such
It
a
all comes
bleak
from you.
way of looking at that.
Yes.
That's why people fight it. But I don't think it's bleak, because it alleviates, like Jordan was saying, regret, judging other people. It's a very freeing thing. You're making decisions, but your subconscious is making decisions. Your consciousness is just fielding. I mean, you get emotional and you realize what the thought was that popped into your head.
Mhm.
That's not. Then you go, oh, I made a choice to do this, or I made a choice.
But then you have a choice what to do with that emotion.
You have
right?
the illusion of choice. It still comes, if you notice, it still pops into your head from your subconscious. Even like, I'm gonna have chicken parmesan, or I'm gonna get chicken, fettuccine.
Uh-huh.
You go, I could have this or that, and then you almost, like, it's a mystery. You go, chicken fettuccine, and then you have to backtrack like the doll and go, that's why I picked it. But you already picked it. Your subconscious already did all the calculating for you. It's a disturbing thing. I don't live my life like that, because it's
impossible.
It's impossible, and it makes you feel like really weird. But I do believe that's what's happening.
Yeah. And also, you can, like, my mom has a tattoo of a tiger with a little monkey on it backwards reading a book, because her whole thing is like, you can slowly arch the narrative of your life by if I go fettuccine, last time I chose fettuccine because, or if you go, I'm gonna be nice to somebody over and over, I'm always gonna make that choice. Then your subconscious is going to, you're like growing yourself, but isn't that true?
Well, the thing is, it's a tricky thing about it.
What the fuck are you guys talking
even
about?
things of like, I'm gonna write down, like, it's good to imagine yourself doing something successful. We can always agree on that, because then you don't feel uncomfortable if it starts to happen. Like, I imagine myself here. That's a good general thing to think. And then, like, I'm gonna write it down, like, imagine success. You're still like whether you go home and write that down right now, your subconscious is like, yeah, do it.
Right.
You're not, you're just fielding something. You're more like receiving things as a conscious person than deciding things. It's already being done by your subconscious.
Right. But to that, I would say, if you resign yourself to that subconscious of, well, this is the way it's going to be, and that's what it is. Once you become aware of that, you then have a choice, the free will, what to do with that feeling. You can either live in that feeling and resign yourself to this and go, well, it's just what it was meant to be.
You're still not
or
understanding the loop. Like,
you can
you're still trying to make your conscious self be the decider, and it's not. Even in that scenario.
Well,
you're still
I'm deciding.
No.
Yes.
That's the thing. You're not.
I'm deciding to not agree with
No.
you.
But
Your
whatever
subconscious
happens,
did.
whatever happens, how you take in this information, where it goes and what happens is all at the mercy of everything you've experienced before, your genetics and your brain chemistry, right? So whatever happens, no matter what you say now, it's going to turn it into what it will be.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
And
you
you're just
relax
gonna
about.
watch.
No one will ever accept this. Like, it's too unpopular. You're safe.
Yeah.
you
Everybody
decide
feels
everything.
how you feel.
Everybody hates
I
this
knew he would
conversation.
feel how I feel. Yes. Yes.
We win.
Fine.
We lost.
I'd rather you win with your bleakness and I'll die a
don't find it
fucking
bleak.
loser living
not
the way
bleak.
I
It's
choose
so nice.
to live.
Look at the two calm people and the two extremely
You're dressed like a fucking bug and you don't even know what your deal is.
but you're very defensive and
death boy.
Oh no, we already had some. All right, listen.
it is nice if you fuck up a set and you get off stage and you go, no matter what happened, that was going to happen. That is just how the course of
Right,
history.
but that's
It
choosing
relaxes
to
you.
accept. It's
Yeah.
choosing to
Yeah.
accept
Your
that, or
subconscious did it.
you're choosing to.
Well, I only do this. You are, but
To
not
obsess
your
over it.
conscious self isn't choosing it. You're arguing that your conscious self is choosing that, and we're saying no, it's not. And all you have to do is notice, and you'll see. Just notice how thoughts appear in your head. You don't think your thoughts; they appear.
Right, but you can choose your actions.
No, you go back and you think you decide. It's like the teddy bear. That you will always go back. Go, that's why I did that. I chose
But what I'm
that,
saying
but
is you can't
didn't.
choose your thoughts. Your thoughts appear, but what you do with
There you
those
go.
thoughts is then a choice.
of your subconscious.
Subconscious has already decided.
You're just riding your life. That's what you're doing. You're just a you are a vessel that is riding all of the experiences that will come and happen to you.
Enjoy
You're
yourself.
yeah,
is the
enjoy
thing.
yourself.
Yeah.
You will.
And I choose to enjoy myself.
No.
Yeah.
Look at how you're dressed.
I'm choosing. What'd you say?
Look at how you're dressed.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying this. And
What sucks is this conversation doesn't bum me out. I
know.
feel this, but it bums people out, and I feel bad about that. They hate it, and they want you to
I don't
shut
hate
up,
it. I like
and
it.
feels
But when you
lonely.
find people,
I like
my
someone
feature,
choosing to challenge me.
my feature has this, it believes this too. And he'll even do a thing when I start to be like what I was saying before, where I'm like, but you can guide it. He's like, no. And he'll be like, he really is way more in the side you're talking about, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it also is when you find
both
yourself in
come
bed
off
and you're
as
eating
miserable.
candy and I think it's not miserable. It might
Yeah.
lend itself a little bit more to analysis and pessimism. It's also probably because
So
we're depressed
you're
people. We've looked
choosing
into it.
to be pessimistic.
No, it's. I find it freeing, and I find it comforting, and it brings you into the moment more because
Well, that's good.
like you're saying, you're riding this, and
Yes.
you're not beating yourself up. Like, why did I go? That's how that had to go. And you're not. People are mean to you. You go, oh, there's a storm in their brain. They're not. You could talk to people. You could
I
feel
agree
when
with
they're
that.
storming, and they're just and you don't take things as personally. Your life is just more relaxed. Like you're sort of.
I agree
not
with
that I even do this, but when I talk about it, but I go back.
But
to what
do you ever go
I
into like
agree.
weeks where you can do it? I've had
No,
like
I'm like an hour and I'm back.
yeah, but it's nice when I've had it when I was auditioning for The Cellar.
I think
and I was
we're
in Mexico. I
saying-
wasn't getting up, and then I came back and I was so free will heavy from listening to it that I was like,
I think
This
we're
is not up
saying
to
the
me,
same
and I
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
We're just speaking it in different
No,
languages.
here's the difference.
Because I agree with you, but what you're saying is the self-conscious of this is what it is and this and that. I'm viewing that as a choice to accept.
Here's a way to crystallize the difference between what we're saying and what you will never not
Basically,
believe,
I'm
and that's
pro-choice
okay.
and you guys are pro-life. You're evil. Wrong.
Is-
we are pro-life.
You're
living.
You're having an illusion that you have free will and you're choosing things, and we're saying your subconscious is you, but it's your subconscious. It's not that self that you're thinking of that's making these choices.
But as subconscious, it still is me. It is
Exactly.
still a
That's
part
what
of me.
Dennett
Not
believes.
the-
That's what Dennett
which-
believes.
But
That's
it's
what Dennett-
not you
What?
conscious.
That's what Daniel Dennett is being. He fights Sam Harris on it, where he's like, "Who I am is my subconscious." Then, so
Yeah.
there is a self,
Mhm.
and that's totally fine if you want to. You feel like you identify with that, but there is a thing like. There is like when I get really angry or I get upset and I'm like, why did I do that? I'm not a person who does that. I can envision myself not being a person. I can be like, it is not up to me what happens.
But I reject that because then you can just live in a way
That's
where
what
you're
people
not
are scared of, and
working
it's
on
not the
yourself.
case.
See, that doesn't happen.
People think that they're just going to be like,
disagree with both of you.
We both came upon this at a certain point in our lives.
Yes.
And our lives are no different. I mean,
Yeah,
we haven't become psychopaths.
Your lives are
Or
completely
lazy.
different.
That's what people are worried about. They're worried that they're
Yeah,
going to
it
just
doesn't
lay down
happen
and not
like
do
that.
anything.
You've been calculating this pain pleasure from your subconscious your whole life. It doesn't change when you just notice it. You're just noticing, oh, that is how it's going down. You still do the things you want to do and not want to do.
Right. Yes. And I agree with the noticing. I'm just saying that there then becomes a choice within the notice to then behave the way that you've continually behaved or to
No.
make a change to then
No, that's still from
adjust
subconscious.
the different outcomes.
Unfortunately, sir, that's still from your subconscious. You never change this pattern, which is your subconscious throws the ideas at you. You feel them, and then you make up a story of why you picked that or did that. And sometimes you go later, you go like, why did I do that? Like a lot of times it lines up. You go, yeah, I chose that and I did that and that's that. But just think of your life when you're like, why did I fucking bring up 9/11 at their birthday?
Yeah.
And it's because you're not doing all the things.
You can't be. You can't be. We would short circuit if we were doing all the things consciously. And yeah,
it's a mixture.
No.
you
Pop off
you're
in the
always,
chat.
You're always.
Let us know in the
everybody
comments.
will be against what we're
everyone
saying.
hates us.
Everybody hates it because
No,
they worry
no.
that they're going to go like this. People worry, okay, then why wouldn't I just lay? And how would I make any decision to do anything? And I'll just lay
But
here.
I'm
It's
agreeing
harder
with
to
you
do.
guys more than I am
But
disagreeing.
you're the basic principle you're not accepting, which is that brainwave thing. How are they able to pick every time exactly what hand that guy was going to raise before he raised it? Because the guy was like, I'm deciding this now, got the decision 4 seconds ago from his subconscious.
But thoughts aren't just linear in terms of like raise hand, don't raise hand. It's like
No, of
there's
course not.
so
It's an
many
example,
different
but
things that go into thoughts.
they all can be
Right, but to narrow it down to make that
But you
as
need
a
to narrow it down for an
blanket
experiment.
explanation of all different thoughts because they could predict hand.
That's just an example from one experiment, but you could have it in a different way.
Here's an
If you
experiment.
want, you can have.
Who can get turned on faster by me stripping?
If you want,
Now, if was it always meant for you to like it? Or is it a decision you're making?
we've broken you. This can make you feel better. You can introduce. You can be spiritual and have no free will. How about that?
What?
Like, you can have a spiritual. You can feel that the thing that's moving your subconscious has some relationship to like a higher power. That helps with the whole free will thing. If that makes you feel better.
What are we? I don't even know what we're
I
talking about.
know that's the problem with this conversation. Is it does unbuckle reality and it becomes uncomfortable for everybody, and
It's the best.
and
It's my
then-
favorite thing.
Yeah, and then we go back to we'll go back to our illusion.
But then it makes you weird about everything you're
thing.
saying because you're like,
Yeah.
am I choosing it? I'm not choosing it. Is it? I used to have horrible OCD about this, and I tripped on acid.
That's like the way you were. Sorry,
What?
go ahead. Go
What?
ahead. No.
I used to have about what I said yesterday, the revelation.
Yeah, about your unraveling when you just take a small example of a thing of like, hey, I want to go to the movies with you. And then you like overthink it to death
Yeah, totally.
instead of just allowing and
That's
choosing
why I know
to
about this
allow.
because I've struggled so
Because
much with it.
It's unwell thinking.
Right, but that's what this helps. Where you're like, this is how it's going to be. You can't
Let's
torture your
explain
way.
to him what we talked about.
Oh, this is how I am. This is how I am in relationships. Ask if you want to see a movie.
You want to see a movie?
I feel like you're asking me. It's like 5 right now. The movie's at 8, and I feel like we never make plans together. And you're just making the plan now because neither of us happen to have spots, and it's just like convenient for you to hang out with me now. We never make plans, and it's not because you really care about me. You're just like, what do I do with my time? I guess I'll hang out with my girlfriend because she's here right now.
Oh,
And that
we're
doesn't-
dating? I thought this was a new thing.
I was just explaining this how I feel with.
That's
And
how
when
she
you're
is
in a
in
relationship?
relationships.
Yeah. So I do take the free will thing and I go, I am where I am. I either am going to go to the movie or not. Realistically, I'm going to end up going to the movie. Let's cut all of the punishment.
But
and I'll just go.
that would offend you if his last minute plans. You don't like those.
It wouldn't. It's just I find it. I will do a thing where I find the way that the person hates me in everything. That's you know what I mean. Like if they're like, hand me the coffee, I'm like, you.
Right.
Literally, if I was like, Beetlejuice, she'd be like, well, why are you conjuring me now?
Right.
What? So you just have to say my name 3 times for me to exist?
Yeah. Did you even think of me before you said it, or you just
Yeah.
said it because you happen?
Because I'm a party
wearing-
trick. Am I
Yeah,
a party trick
yeah.
to you? Is that what I am?
Oh,
It's
I
like,
see. I'm
well, I just
wearing the
wanted you to
costume,
be
so
here.
now that it's very
That's
much
kind of a new character, like PMS juice or whatever.
nice.
Like a Beetlejuice's wife who's just hormonal. Is it hormones?
Yeah. It's
Is it-
no, it's obsessive.
that's her all the time.
It's looping. I loop. Where I'll be like, just go to the movie. You know that he's just asking you to go to the movie, and then I'll be like, but what if he's just admitted? That's why I got into No Free Will, because I was always like, I don't understand who's making these decisions. Am I making them? Jordan's making them?
Yeah.
If I'm making them, then what if I just choose to stab myself in the leg? What if because I was a contractor, I was like, what if I take the nail gun? I could do that. So then I started having panic attacks while I'm doing carpentry because all of these possibilities. And then I started taking acid, which did actually help a lot. And then I got into Sam Harris and No Free Will stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm just a culmination of shit. And I'm probably going to keep myself safe because I've made it this far.
Yeah.
So I probably won't do that. Even if I have a
it.
panic, I'll probably faint before I pull the trigger.
Yeah,
You know what I
He
mean?
asked if you wanted to go to the movies, and you still have not said yes or no.
Yeah, I'll go. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Great. It's
By the
so
way, I just
good.
put a button on the. Have you noticed? As soon as Sam Harris, like the free will thing came out, people like fucking hate him.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's scary about introducing. This is the most upsetting thing.
People call me sociopaths. Like a few days later, I talk about the No Free Will. They'll be like, "You're a sociopath," and I'm like,
I don't
"I'm
think
eating
it
a
has to
sandwich."
do with the free will thing.
It's the most like
I mean,
a
he's
religion
literally
thing.
shitting his pants, clawing his eyeballs
But
out
you-
next to us.
But I,
Look at Ethan. Ethan's chill as hell, dude.
yeah, well,
I
he's
think
a
he
wizard.
accepts it.
He's all right.
It's the closest thing to religion when you go, oh, I think something else. And they go, I was on a plane with this lady and she's like handing me pamphlets about Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And she's like, yeah, and this. And then she asked me what I did for a living. And I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. And then she started telling me I was wasting my life. And then I was like, okay, now I'm done being nice. And I wasn't even mean, but I was just asking her questions that were riling her.
Like
and
what?
getting
Like
her,
what?
You know, just like, I go, well, if
Pick your 3 favorite movies.
Name 3 capitals, quick.
yeah.
I don't know who said this, but someone said this, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a really upsetting thing to say to someone who's like
What?
believes in Jesus. Just if we were on the other side of the world, you'd be handing me pamphlets about Muhammad.
Mhm.
And then their brain, it's that cognitive dissonance where they know it's true,
Yeah.
but they're like, no, they can't believe it. And then they fucking hate you. That's like the same thing with free will. It's like their brain goes, I can't accept this. Fuck you.
But I'm not
And
saying
it'll never
fuck
get popular.
you to both you guys.
But your energy is.
But-
Your energy is.
To
No,
the, yeah.
but that's you putting that on me because I'm obviously
I had
playing
no
a
free will
part
to do that.
and like playing this up. But like
It's uncomfortable.
again,
It is uncomfortable.
You're putting your own uncomfortableness.
Both of us at the
on
same
this?
time?
Yes.
Oh.
He could fucking stab me right now, and you'd be like, "See, we both like stabbing."
Yeah. No, but I knew I called the free will thing. Can we acknowledge that? That I was like, he's going to be a free will guy, and he was? That's crazy.
Sure.
You can just tell. You get a read.
Yeah, it's a lonely. We're a lonely group.
Yeah,
You
it is.
both
My
seem
mom,
miserable.
my best
Yeah.
friend.
Are you a miserable
does it.
person?
I'll tell you this.
There it is.
I'll be totally honest. I'm not.
No.
I've never had. I've just been lucky brain chemistry wise. I don't get too dark. But I'll tell you this: before free will and like thinking that, noticing that, and after, there isn't really a difference. It's not like it changed something where I was like, oh, now I'm dark because I don't believe in.
I feel like I found out about it because I always kind of knew it. Like when I read it, I wasn't like, whoa. I kind of was like, yeah, that does make sense. There's no way
guess I'm more
that I
just
could
like
have
a-
that
Yeah,
much
yeah.
information and choose between
I'm
it.
like an aggressive optimist, I guess. And I guess in terms of the free will thing, from my past experiences and what has happened to me in my life, I've had no choice as a defense mechanism to survive, but to be aggressively optimist about things
Mm-hmm.
as a way for me to survive and traverse the world that I was born into. So that is my, I guess, unraveling of why am I so like angrily optimistic about things and like that. If you want to go back to the subconscious, we are a, reflection of our past and our culmination of this, that, the other.
Yeah, I think there's a better way to.
To say what I said. Oh,
phrase
go
it.
ahead.
Well, no,
Go
to-
ahead.
No, I agree with you.
Don't say what I said, but in a better way.
It's,
Look how mad. You're mad.
Yeah, I was gonna say something totally different.
Sorry, I'm trying to
talking
make
about-
make them laugh at home.
Oh, I know. Sorry, this is like the least funny podcast.
no,
ever.
it's the best. This is
but,
my
She's
favorite.
I'm loving this too.
Well,
by the
This
way.
is my favorite, not
What I was
just
gonna-
fart jokes.
Yeah. Listen, what I was gonna say, which had nothing to do with you getting what you thought I was gonna say,
yes.
is I think there could be a better way of phrasing free will. I think that is just too upsetting to people. I think a better way is to say you make these decisions subconsciously So it's you have no free will. It sounds really harsh, but we do calculate, so much. I mean, your heart and there's a lot of going on in your body, intelligence that you're not conscious of. And your brain is doing a lot of work, back here, you know what I mean? And then this guy is just so fucking thinks he controls everything. And he's just like pulling.
So just a control panel.
He's like, yay. But
that's crazy.
That goes to my question of,
did you make the decision right then to cross your legs? You know what I mean?
Yes,
Everything.
I did.
Did you ever watch a video of yourself?
because I wanted to be comfortable in my space.
Right, but imagine if
So I
everything
made
was
the
a lever you were pulling. Right now, moving your shoe, looking at Ethan just in that moment, that would be chaos. Once you get into a flow state of it where you're like, I am just rolling with it and witnessing what happens, it feels incredible. It feels good, I think you'd like it.
What I'm saying is, so then does that, because I've had this question. I was in a,
Of all podcasts that we have, the one philosophy one, We Are Dressed Like This, is
I love that.
so funny.
that is hilarious.
This is the podcast I have always wanted. If it was Bein Jordan with Ian, this is exactly what it would be. This is great.
Really, the most ironic conclusion is what happens, or the most. Anyway, that's what this is.
It's great. I mean, you're literally trying to
pontificate while dressed as Elvis.
Like Elvis, yeah. Go ahead.
Now, okay, so
I think it's because we had the skeleton here reminding us the finitude of our existence.
I mean, death and Halloween, it does make sense. You're
totally.
right.
And the conclusions we're coming to are pretty spooky scary. Now, when you talk about the idea of subconscious and you're not even making this decision, in the past, I dated someone with incredibly bad borderline personality disorder.
It wasn't me.
Okay. It was not her. And she discussed me. That's just kidding. Jokes, huh? I love you. But
I thought you said I discuss you. I do discuss you.
A thing that I struggled with when she would behave in like a massively hurtful and truly like evil way was I would go, is she making these decisions to like these snap decisions to turn things around on me and say these things and to hurt me? Or is it so embedded in her subconscious that her wiring is so broken that she only knows how to hurt? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like the argument you just had about the movies was very much could be related to the way she would behave.
Yeah, I have serious borderline tendencies.
The daggers would really come out with it, and then not just like, well, you always do this and this and that. It would come out with these other like insults. It would just like just very hurtful
that's
things.
a nice
And
way
in my head, I would go, "Is this?" But what I'm saying is, a way I got over it was the recognition, like, oh my God, it's not something she was doing personal to me. It's she has basically like coffee was poured on her motherboard when she was developing and her brain is broken. Yeah. And that's why. And so I should look at her not with condemnation, but with compassion. Like, yes, she hurt me and these things are terrible, but oh my God, this poor person has to suffer this way where she's not even aware of the, hurtful and deceitful ways in which she's acting. And that goes back to the free will.
You know who you are.
You just need to expand that out to everything.
Right, because then you can walk away from things knowing that it isn't a choice.
Right, but again, like I'm 8 years sober and I'm heavily involved in recovery and everything, and so a big part of that is recognizing your faults, and they call it character defects, but also in looking at other people and going, oh, I shouldn't be upset at this person. They're a sick person. How can I help them rather than hate them? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you look at people like I wanted to hate this person, but once I recognized like, oh, it was borderline and not her as a person, that helped me break free and move forward.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that analogous?
If you do a third lap right now,
am I laughing?
You are lapping,
Can I be honest? I'm not used to people listening to me for this long.
I mean,
and so the fact that you were, I'm just talking to be like, oh my God, I really got him. Okay, keep going. Wow. I was really excited.
I was like, really if this doesn't culminate in something different than how it began, I don't know what we're doing.
But,
yes. No, we know what you're saying. She didn't decide who she was, and that helps you to understand that.
Yes.
Yes.
Something.
It's like crazy. crazy how much time of my life I've spent like that. Okay.
You know what's fucked up? I wasn't listening the whole time. I don't know. You need to say that again. Just say it one more time.
She can't blame
It was about some
he
girl.
can't
The way you acted with the date thing is the way she would act. It reminded me of that. And so
90? We're at 90 minutes? Oh my
wow.
God. Plug. What do you got to plug?
I guess we gotta end
This is
this.
my favorite podcast we've ever had. This is
great.
I can't wait to tell my mom and Kyle's no free will guy. Ugh.
There's just, I think there's only 4 or 5 of us in the world.
It's true. My mom is the queen.
Wow,
She's
you're
a
all
cult
so
leader of no free will.
I
Yeah.
can't, my mother would not be on board with this, I'm pretty sure.
My mom is a
Yeah,
cult leader.
you guys are disappointing
You're
your
screaming.
mothers.
You're screaming. If you and
It
listen to
wasn't
this.
my choice to scream.
That's true.
It's true. We know.
I can't help it. I'm a screamer.
Yes, you are
How's
a screamer.
that feel?
Your sarcasm
fine.
was not your choice.
Yes. You being a
Um,
smug bitch.
It's just the way I was born, baby.
Do not picture an
I'm
elephant.
not
Neither
picturing
does
an
you are.
elephant. I'm picturing a fucking donkey because I'm looking at 2 fucking jackasses.
Oh, see,
Go
he's
ahead.
very
Yeah, yeah,
upset.